Да, всем снова здравствуйте. Сейчас все подрубается потихонечку. Так, сейчас логотипчик SMITE Pro обязательно. Логотипчик SMITE Pro. Клипы уже недоступны, ребят, предупреждаю. Че, Стронг опять клаву сломал? Нет, мистер Крик, это все старое видео. Это старое видео. Видео очень старое уже. Так, сейчас все будет. Наконец-то я с YouTube зрителями опять. 2К 5 топоров. Так я тебе 1000 накинул еще. Ты больше 2000 потратил, Сейлор. Я 1000 накинул, потому что под конец ты ушел с хорошей песней. Что за обновление SMITE, ребят? Сегодня нам расскажут о новом боевом пропуске. Нам покажут штурм. Обязательно нам покажут штурм. Новую карту. Так что ждем. Сейчас все увидим. Так, а тут у меня есть логотип SMITE Pro. Вот так вот будет. Началось. Привет, Евгений. Да, Саш, был только на Твиче, Саш. Музыкальный стрим у нас теперь каждую среду музыкальный стрим. Это Танатос? Это Танатос? Никто не угадал! Ярость Валькирии это Танатос? Охренеть! Ну, это Артемис. Это понятно, Артемида. Это Танатос, ребята! Что за дела? Ну, это... О, миксер Стор добавит! Магазин миксер, это классная тема, ребят. Стримы на миксере. Смотрите, в Паладинах уже есть такая шняга. И вам дают миксер-поинты, и типа за них можно... Да, Скарлетт, это Танатос. Всем добро пожаловать. Это время падения тьмы. С вами Агро и Стронгастет. Это очень маленькое будет обновление. Это будет очень маленькое обновление. Да, он говорит, что это все будет маленькое, сегодня не покажет ни новую карту, ни на боевой пропуск, не очень много изменений, все будет очень маленькое. Огненный Юрмунган, да. Даже. Пойду миксер посмотрю. Пока еще рано, Леонид. Пока рано, миксер. Ну, это ссылу они обожают. Ну, это Кухулин, очевидно. Это Кернун. Это Пеле. Ну, это Нейт. Разрушитель. А это Накса. Артемид ужасная. Ну вот этот Танатос, он четкий. Хочу Танатоса. Тина будет еще, Джомбик. Будет Тина. Капец, нафиг я пришел. В смысле, он троллил тебя, он же делал вот так. Ничего не будет. Alex here joining me that I got to introduce you guys to. These are two of the really important people behind SMITE. Travis just joining us,
важных человечка.
and then Alex in charge of the brand managing, I believe.
Этот за бренд отвечает, отвечает за что я забыл.
Well, my name's Travis Brown. I have a long history with SMITE. I was around when it was just born inside of Global Agenda as a game mode.
Он был с самого начала SMITE.
I guess the first 35 gods up until release. So, a lot of history there. A lot of fun times where we were creating gods every 2 weeks. We had like 4 in a pipeline at the same time. It was really exciting.
Мы делали богов каждую неделю.
I was responsible for release Guan Yu.
Он был ответственен
за
релиз Гуаня.
Look, it happened, and now we all are closer together because of it. You know, we all survived the Guan release.
Сатину, да, я тоже Джомбик хочу его.
It was an interesting story, but
тоже хочу этот Танатоса.
The thing I miss the most is probably the music themed.
Этот Танатос божественный. Валькирия Танатос, это круто.
I spent some time doing.
Конечно, скучал, ребят.
International producing the game in Latin America with Level Up and China for Tencent and then dabbled in helping out on a couple of other games inside of Hyra Studios. And then I came back and worked on Adventures. Some of you may have recognized me from that, or at least played some of the Adventures.
Он отвечает за создание приключений. До этого он еще занимался релизом в Китае SMITE.
It was fun.
С помощью Tencent.
It was a lot of fun. I liked it. But some of the other more successful game modes, like the dungeons, were a lot of fun. Making an RPG was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
capture the flag.
Тут Васапик заходил. Я прям обрадовался очень сильно. Продлил подписку на 4 месяца.
Getting bots working on Realm Royale, giving a new projects some feedback to get them going in different directions or right directions. And now I'm back on SMITE. And it's exciting. I'm glad to be back as the executive producer.
Он говорит, что до этого он отвечал за SMITE, но потом он ушел в другие проекты.
That's right. We're excited to have you, Travis. How about you, Alex? What's your journey been?
Yeah, definitely. So I am Alex Cantatori. I am at Kilgoon on Twitter. Some of you who have been in the scene for a very long time might know me. I actually started out doing a SMITE esports blog way back in like season 1 or season 0 called SMITE-tastic, just in my spare time while I was working at an ad agency out in California. And then there was an opening here for a marketing position. I applied on a lark. I've been playing SMITE since I think Thor release in closed beta, so long-time SMITE fan. And then I came onto the team, and I've been here for about 3.5 years doing all sorts of marketing stuff. I previously worked on SMITE a lot. I was the guy who led the SMITE PS4 launch. I did the Bob Ross Sylvanas skin. That was my deal. So if you guys like the Bob Ross, hopefully we get to do more stuff like that. And recently the opportunity came up, and now I am going to be the brand director for all of our live games here at Hi-Rez. So I'm working on SMITE, Paladins, and Realm Royale. My last year or so has been mostly on Paladins, but a lot of history in SMITE.
A busy man to have to juggle all 3 of those, but we're excited to have you here as part of the Titan Forge team as well. What are some of the things that we at Titan Forge are really looking to push forward in the future for SMITE?
Well, my immediate plans is to really look at the overall polish of the game. Definitely looking at taking a step back from some of the changes that we've been making recently to maybe even the UI or adding
отполировать UI, то есть интерфейс.
We want to take a step back from those. We want to reevaluate the game, see if we can identify quick, easy wins from a usability perspective and from just a general like gameplay perspective as far as bugs are concerned. It's kind of like we kind of liken it to if we have a messy house, we don't want to invite people over, so we just want to clean up a little bit.
Они не хотят заниматься маркетингом, пока они не подчистят все баги.
I have a long list of bugs that I've been fixing for years, and it's always never been the right time.
Сейчас они будут заниматься конкретно этим.
We get to control the schedule, so
we get to attack it head on.
So it's exciting time because it's going to be a refocus really to quality.
Excellent. Yeah, Alex, your
perspective?
Definitely. So I think SMITE is a great game, right? Like I've played it nonstop since closed beta, right? Like it's been my top game for forever. And I think that really from a marketing perspective, it's more about embracing the things that we're doing right, embracing the community and what they want, and sharing kind of the good word of SMITE with the world, right? The reason why we're all so passionate about this game is because it is just a blast to play. It's so much fun. And I don't know if we've done a great job telling that story to everyone. So I really want to focus on that and making just amazing content in game.
Чувак из Пала пришел, там багов еще больше.
Yeah, absolutely. And once we clean the house per se, it's going to be time to invite some new people in. We've got some exciting things on that front as well, correct?
Ну, фокус свой сместить в сторону подчистки UI интерфейса конкретно, качество игры, качество, ну, чтобы багов убрать.
On some of the other platforms, like having difficulty against maybe new players on PC.
Sure.
So we're looking at ways to improve the onboarding experience across the board on all platforms. And we've already started. We've got some people working on improving bot behaviors, making the bots play more like players. And we've got some interesting things that we'll do to kind of ease those new players into matchmaking, whereas they might have accelerated too quickly at times and played against masters players in casual queues. So we're looking at ways to improve on that.
Они работают над матчмейкингом.
We're also looking at new ways to play the game.
Они также ищут новые пути игры.
Being responsible for adventures, I know that like player engagement is fun and giving them something new to do. Not maybe so crazy as maybe SMITE Kart, but new ways to play the game is important. And we are actually working on something right now.
За карты, когда вы ездили на машинках аполлоновских. Вот его сейчас вернули сюда, чтобы он что-то подобное, видимо,
сделал. If anyone wants to get a hold of you guys, you said at Kilgoon on Twitter, correct?
At Kilgoon on Twitter.
Nice and easy. And Travis, for you?
Нет, не вернут, но они будут работать над интерфейсом.
Yeah, we can page you.
Yeah, if you could just page me anytime. No, I'm literally like off the grid. I'm an old man. I don't.
You're on Reddit, right?
Can't get Travis if you want to. Yeah, you did a Reddit AMA recently.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be more active on Reddit.
Okay.
I want to be as active as possible, even if I get in trouble at times. I think
Пускай женский скин на популярного персонажа говорит об отсутствии фокуса на маркетинге. Да, Саш, они не говорят, что у них одно отсутствие, они говорят, что они его смещают в сторону.
We've got some people who are a little bit more Reddit savvy who can help you out. We'll be able to get it going. Thank you guys for joining us. Very excited about the future here for Titan Forge. These are some of the people that will be heading a lot of the decisions you'll see that's going to keep improving Smite in the near future. But speaking of improving Smite, we've got some Project of Olympus updates, and for that, we've got Hindu and Ponpon standing by.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Yeah, it's me and Pon as per usual. Look at this, a nice set again.
Yeah, this is nice.
It's all right for 2 seconds, right? SPL starting next week. Don't forget, that's why we've got the desks back for the most part. But yeah, Project Olympus updates are the first thing we're going to go through. There's quite a few things to go through with me and Pon today, so I'm going to not necessarily speed read, but we'll go through them as quick as possible. Console, first of all. We've got some updates for console players. We'll now be able to use a new set of VGS inputs for communication with
Для консольщиков добавят новые различные VGS, но новые команды для лучшей коммуникации внутри игры.
Players in game. The button combinations, do we need to go into that?
I don't think we need to go into button combinations, but essentially there's now a new VGS command that'll bring up like a virtual keyboard you'll be able to input.
Oh, neat. So now they can argue back.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you get told you suck, turn around and say, eat it. That's what you do. It'll be perfect. Just say Hindu said, eat it. It'll be okay. That's console update. Next up, UI updates. Finally, I hope there's millions of them. The client-side store has been updated to the new art style. This refers to where...
Значит, магазин был обновлен для нового стиля арта полностью.
Buy skins and gods, not the in-game item shop, where players buy things like boots and relics. So the skin and god store. Yeah.
Yes, and this is largely in the continued efforts to get the UI into a cohesive state where all the art matches, and also focusing on improvements at the same time.
Daily rewards no longer reset when the player misses a day.
That's awesome.
No, that's not good. That's a lazy...
Что за фигня? Ага, значит... Ну, это хорошо, на самом деле. Теперь не перезагружается ваши еженедельные награды, если вы пропустили один день.
Player that doesn't log in every day.
I mean, sometimes you have vacation.
Sure, we log in, take your laptop with you, take your Switch. You got a Switch now. You've got no excuse if you don't have a Switch. That's what your Christmas present.
I mean, sometimes you get sick like I did last week, and you just sleep a whole day. That happens.
Get your wife to. You're married now. That's what they're there for. That was a joke. My wife reasons do not.
That's account sharing.
It is. Oh, let's not go into that one. Daily rewards must now be claimed in the featured page of the store by the player instead of.
Так, теперь, как и в Паладинах, мы должны будем сами забирать свою ежедневную награду, вместо того, чтобы его получать. То есть вы должны будете войти в игру, зайти в магазин и там ее забрать, так же, как и в Паладинах.
Auto-claiming. Okay, so you've actually got to unclaim them yourself.
Yeah.
Кто играл в Паладин, знает.
On top of that, PC players can now
Это
call
важно.
rolls through the UI in other.
Теперь игроки с платформы компьютер, ну, с компа, короче, смогут выбирать себе роли. И в других модах, кроме Conquest.
Game modes besides Conquest. Oh.
Yeah, so this is essentially you get into the lobby and you'll have like a pick your role.
Right.
Before it was like kind of a hidden. It was a feature that was always on console. It was a hidden feature on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Now everyone has access to it. It's very clear. You can just bring it up and select your role and yeah, just general improvements to that.
So you can just give it a heads up of what kind of character you're going to play. Next up, a big one, ranked MMR. Players will now be able to see their ranked MMR.
Воу. Игроки теперь будут увидеть свой ММР. То есть игроки теперь будут видеть свой рейтинг на своих ранговых страничках. Это то, чего мы так долго ждали. То, что нам обещали еще в начале 6-го сезона.
When viewing their ranked stat page. Matchmaking rating will not be visible to others in the client unless they are Masters, Grandmasters players. MMR will now be visible through the API, allowing external sites to obtain players' MMR, but players can, if you really want to hide your MMR for some reason, prevent that. I don't know why you would want to, but okay.
Just that follows the standard things.
Если что, вы можете его захайдить. Да, ММР как в Доте было. Ну, как в Доте, как в старой, самой старой игре ММР или Элла называется. Это шахматы. То же самое. В шахматы кто-нибудь играл когда-нибудь?
With all our other systems around, if you hide your profile, it'll be hidden. Largely, it'll be kept to yourself, though, so you can share if you want to. But if you are Masters, Grandmasters, which we'll get to with the other ranked updates, that is going to be public information.
Okay, and the ranked updates is where we're getting to next, and that's why we discussed MMR first, is Duo Q is coming back to ranked once more.
Дуо возвращается в ранговый конквест. Дуо возвращается в ранговый конквест, ребята. Вы поняли? Вы поняли? Вы поняли, чем это грозит?
Duo Bank for Ranked Conquest returns. Now, I think one of the reasons we took it away is because matchmaking was a problem, but some of the stuff that we're doing with bringing back Duo Q is adjusting that.
Yeah, so we took it away. We largely saw that not too much had changed. There are people who came in because Duo Q weren't there, but there are people who left because Duo Q wasn't there. And we're trying to bring it back and get the best of both worlds, preserve good matchmaking, but bring back Duo Q for those who want. So it's coming back with restrictions, and especially at the very high end, heavy restrictions.
Okay, and we'll just go through those real quick. Players will be able to party with a friend and queue up in Ranked Conquest. We have adjusted the rules from the last time this was possible, and it's going to be players in Platinum 1 and below. You can now queue with people within 200 MMR of your current MMR.
And
if previously,
Вы не можете играть с игроками, которые ниже или выше вашего ММР на 200. Ну, 200 ММР это как бы разница. Теперь мы будем мыслить ММР.
That range was based off with tiers, and that was
Дуо Эскобар это значит вдвоем. Ты сможешь с другом играть в ранговый конквест вдвоем.
Approximately 400.
Right,
MMR
so it's a little bit closer now.
So it's much closer.
Okay, so it's a 200 MMR difference, and that's for Platinum 1 players and below. You've got to have someone there. But players in Diamond and above, you guys are going to have to be within 50 MMR of each other to queue up. So at the very top end, you've got to be very...
15 это что, 15? Я же правильно понимаю? Всего лишь с разницей в 15 ММР мы можем играть, начиная с ранга Diamond в дуо. Это ж каким близким нужно быть другом с человеком, чтобы была такая маленькая разница ММР. Это ваш рейтинг, ребят. 50 или 15 он сказал? По-моему, он 15 сказал. Окей, 50. Давайте 50 будем думать, что он 50 сказал. Потому что 15 это вообще ridiculous. Но это было бы реально ridiculous. Скорее всего, 50.
Very close together to really powerhouse duo.
Yeah, and especially the people who are really good at the game, when they're together and they can utilize the shot calling and the nature of having someone in the game that you can directly communicate with, you know how to play with.
Это очень важное обновление, ребят. Не пропустите,
пожалуйста. We want to make
пожалуйста.
sure that the matchmaker can accommodate for that, and so they need to be much closer.
Okay, and that's the reasons why the MMR is coming out as well. Ranked updates on progression. Qualification games have been removed from Ranked. Players will no longer need to play 10 qualifying games when first starting out or at the start of each split. And players without a previous split ranking begin at Bronze 3, climbing up the ladder by playing and winning games.
Yep, so everyone starts at Bronze 3. If you have a previous
То есть все теперь стартуют с бронзы 3.
ranking, you're going to be set between Bronze 3 and Gold 1.
Okay.
So people who are like Diamond Masters right now, they'll be Gold 1.
Okay.
People who are probably like Silver right now might get reset down to Bronze. And then you climb up through the rankings.
And this will happen as when this patch hits.
Yes, correct.
This is all going to happen when the next patch hits.
The next split starts at the start of the next patch.
Okay.
Or this patch.
Okay, so when this patch comes out.
Yes.
Да, с этим обновлением стартует и новый сплит. Будьте готовы. Да, ну я не расслышал, Винсент. Типа 50 или 15. Я уж испугался 15. Это как 15, это же вообще ridiculous. Типа, все.
Which is what we just said. Yes. And then you reworded it and said the same thing.
Well, yes, but I want to make sure that it was very clear the split was
Ну, бронза 3 тоже норм.
Sure. Gotcha.
We did it.
Updated rewards lowered the amount of wins needed for the 50 gem reward each split from 75 to 50.
Yeah, that's a lot of games. This
So
is
we
a
just
little bit less
loaded
games.
Roll queue. Onto the more of this. Players now provide a primary and secondary choice. Primary role will indicate to the role who you want the role you want to most play.
Ага, теперь будет основная роль и вторая роль. Основная роль, это которую вы очень хотите поиграть. И офф-роль. То есть теперь, если сейчас мы выбирали две роли и рандомная какая-то попадалась, какая свободна, то теперь будет основная роль и офф-роль.
The system will prioritize getting as many players as possible their primary role. How many P's do you want to put in this? Priority points only reset upon getting your primary role.
On Project Olympus.
We
like alliteration.
We really do. Visualize priority. Players will now be able to see how many priority points they have on the queue screen. Players will, with the most
Теперь мы будем видеть, как много приоритета пароля мы имеем в очереди. То есть мы теперь будем видеть, какой у нас приоритет пароля. То есть какой шанс того, что мы получим нам нужную роль.
Priority points will have the highest chance to receive their primary role.
Yep. There you go.
And rank role queue. Fixed first pick will always receive their primary role. That's good to know. I like that one.
So all these changes are largely...
И в ранкеде первая роль всегда будет... Тот, кто первый, самый верхний по Мамару, теперь будет всегда получать свою роль основную. Всегда.
And they were like, okay, here's one I want first, here's one I want second. We treated them equally for the purposes of trying to get as many people in a good role as possible. But especially for ranked, the top picks have a lot of impact on the game. We want to make sure those characters get the roles they want.
Это очень крутое
we had a lot of
обновление,
people being like, I really played this role super well, this role okay if I had to, and then these are the ones I don't want. And they'd be getting the second one relatively as often as they were getting the first.
Gotcha.
So now if you're first pick, you will always get your primary. Second pick will always get their primary unless first pick got it, and then they'll get their secondary.
Okay. And then custom games. A new feature has been added here, or a change in feature. A new pause option has been added. Free pause. Players can now pause the game at any time, even during combat. This is custom game.
А теперь для кастомных игр разрешили фишечку добавить. Свободная пауза называется. Вы в любой момент можете, даже во время боя, нажать на паузу. Это, для кого-то важно.
Games only, and this is really for those players that are like playing scrims and stuff like that, or in houses where the pause feature is important to be able to pause straight away if there's an emergency, but they all understand it. It's basically a house rule, is what we're going to have to call it this.
It's just a useful feature. Sometimes when people are fighting each other, you're like, man, I need to pause. I really need to pause. And it takes like 30 seconds for it to actually happen. Now it'll just happen immediately.
But that's only custom games, guys, just so you know. So don't be panicking about that. And that's enough of Project Olympus. We'll move on to bug fixes next. And we'll start off with more UI fixes. Fix an issue where some players in match lobby would appear to be in an order that didn't make them match their pick order. Sorry.
Yes.
Words are hard.
Исправили ошибку, из-за которой мы не могли выбрать... из-за которой нас ставили не в том порядке, в котором мы были в лобби, на самом деле.
Yeah, because sometimes it'll say like third picks now and not second pick. Right?
Да, Атари кусает.
And then on top of that, console fix profanity filter not working for chat text, fix players' names not showing on ranked leaderboards, and fix.
Также пофиксили ошибку, в которой ранговые игроки не показывались, на ранговой таблице. Это на консоли.
Could not be edited unless deleting entire profile. That's a weird bug.
Yes, and that was.
Также пофиксили баг для консольщиков, где мы не могли сохранить свой item builder, свой лист предметов, которые мы заранее подготовили для игр.
One a lot of people were complaining about, and we had to get the specifics of the issue. Looks like we found it and are fixing it.
Then on to Conquest balance we've got this week. Before we go into balance changes overall, what's the major theme?
So big things are...
Также пофиксили фильтр, который не работал для текстового чата. От, я так понял, профанити это каких-то...
Addressing things that have kind of come out from the start of Season 6.
Right.
We're looking at like... one thing that we got was a lot of people saying duo lane didn't change too much.
Sure.
So we're making some targeted changes there. Some people still feeling jungle and especially jungle invading has a lot of pressure on the map, making some adjustments around that. And then also the new features like the Primal Gold Fury specifically being a little bit weak compared to like the Oni Fury or the standard Gold Fury, making adjustments to make that feel better as well.
Да не,
so a lot of changes this patch is mainly going to be aimed towards Hornets. It's got a couple of new items in here too.
Сейчас Хорезы уже опытные, они уже на такие
balance
фишки
change for
не
Conquest
падают.
first. Primal Fury. We're going to be increasing the damage dealt to jungle camps from 5%.
Также увеличивают зеленую золотую фьюри, которая... вы видели зеленая, которая давала нам раньше на 5% увеличенный урон по всем лесным миньонам, включая боссов и Fire Giant. Теперь будет давать 7%. На 2% увеличили.
7%, and this is per stack, by the way. Buff gained from killing the Primal Fury, so it's just a little bit more powerful.
Yes, and I think people realize that this is really the buff that lets you take the Fire Giant, especially with the more difficult enhanced Fire Giant. This buff can really help you secure it. So increasing this percentage should make it feel more worthwhile to get the buff. It should make it more likely that your team can actually secure that Fire Giant and the game just in general make it feel better.
Next up is a big one now, so just hold here with me, okay? Because we'll go through it. Spirit minions. Now, spirit minions are going to be something that spawns in the duel.
Так, новые миньоны появляются в конквесте на дуо-линии. Значит, на дуо-линии появляются какие-то духи миньонов.
Only on the very first wave. It is designed
только в первой волне.
To impact the fighting as little as possible, but to provide just enough XP to allow 2 players to hit level 2 after the second wave in duo lane.
Yes.
Instead of remaining at just under, which they did before. So what's the reason for this, first of all? First of all, I'll go through the stats very quickly, okay? This one spirit minion will spawn on either side and come down the duo lane. The spirit minion stats are going to be 34 kill experience, 50 HP, and 5 physical power. So realistically, this minion is nothing apart from that extra little bit of experience that duo seems to win. Why are we giving duo lane that XP?
So I think the big thing here is
они хотят сделать так, чтобы во время второй волны на дуо-линии мы сразу получали второй левел. Для чего это делается, ребят? Для того, чтобы как можно больше защитить от гангов лесника. То есть, чтобы лесника было меньше шансов напасть на дуо-линию или быструю ротацию с центральной линии совершить какой-то после красного бафа зачит. Чтобы обезопасить дуо-линию.
In a lot of situations, the ability to snowball and pressure comes off of the ability's team to invade successfully. Right now, let's say you relatively trade well on the first wave, but the second wave they out-trade you, they push you under tower. They're going to go invade your purple, and they're going to take at least a mini, which is going to give them level 2.
Yeah.
They're going to come back to lane as level 2 while you're still level 1, and now you have to face each other at the wave, and that creates a lot of scenarios where, 1, that lane is really susceptible to ganks and can be really easily snowballed. 2, they can be zoned out and pressured even further.
Так, они объясняют также такую фигню, если, если на дуо, значит, вражеский охотник и страж запушили вас, забирают ваш фиолетовый, возвращаются на линию, и у них уже 2 вторых левела, а у вас все еще первый. И вот этого, и вас очень легко гангануть, то есть на вас очень легко напасть джанглеру вражескому, так как вы очень сильно behind и могут даже из подвышки вытащить. И вот этого сценария они хотят избежать.
We want teams to have an opportunity where, sure, invading that purple is going to be advantageous, but it shouldn't shut down the lane as hard as it currently does. We want teams to have a more reasonable chance of fighting over having backup options to, okay, we got pushed, but we still have this answer that we can come back to. And right now it felt very unanswerable.
Gotcha.
That's the goal here.
I was going to say, with the jungle ganks being very early on in the game too, this is very impactful to allow them to maybe have an escape.
Yeah, having your movement ability, you get your clear ability level 1, your movement ability level 2, that helps you a lot when it comes to the jungler's ability to gank you.
Speaking of junglers, a couple of jungle rule changes here. These are big ones too. Killing jungle camps on the opposite side of the map, which is obviously if you're chaos, that's order. If you're order, that's chaos. Now provides less experience.
Также напоминаем, еще на прошлом обновлении они нам говорили, что делают такую фигню. У вас есть 2 стороны. И если вы заходите за вражескую сторону, и на этой стороне уже убиваете миньонов во вражеском лесу, допустим, красный баф, вы получаете меньше опыта и меньше золота теперь. Чтобы это не вносило вам такую жесткую, так сказать, жестких бонусов таких не давало. Поэтому...
experience and gold. The amount is going to decrease by 33% at 0 minutes match time, and decrease linearly over time. Becomes 0% decrease at 15 minutes. So it slowly goes from 33% less gold and experience you're going to get from killing those camps.
Yeah, so it's most intense when the kind of shift of the game balance and levels is most intense, and then it slowly decreases until 15 minutes. Where really, if you are controlling,
это происходит только до 15 минуты. Это не бред, это круто. 30%.
The map, you should have that advantage.
На 30%
you
меньше получаете.
Compound your lead more, but the early game, tone it down a little bit. You're already taking a camp is already denying your opponent experience. You're not just getting experience for yourself. You're denying your resources for your opponent. And that was just a bit too effective, especially in the early game. That's what this goal is targeted towards.
Now, these may change over time as well as we test things out. Both those two things may get adjusted if required, right?
And it's also important to note the mid harpies, the oracles, and I believe that's it.
Neutral objectives,
well, neutral objectives that aren't like, for example, bosses aren't worth less ever, but mid harpies and oracles don't have this rule applied to them because they're in the center.
Okay, cool. So once you step onto the enemy territory, their back harpies, their buffs, steal those away. You're not going to get as much experience in gold, but it's still denial, still a lead. Visual feedback on objective kills is next up. The accolade for killing the Gold Fury will now display text specifying it was the Gold Fury, the Primal Fury, or the Oni Fury.
Также теперь будет плашка в интерфейсе, которая будет показывать, какую именно конкретно убили Золотую Фурию.
When a Fury is killed, it will now display to enemies as well, with different text and art, and will specify which type of Fury it was.
Также и врагам тоже теперь будет показываться дополнительная менюшка, которая будет им объяснять, кого убили, но другая немножко.
When Pyromancer is killed, it will now display to enemies as well, and when Fire Giant is killed, it will now display to enemies as well.
Теперь
we used to have
не только
audio
звук будет,
cues
но
that were there
также
once upon a
будет
time.
показываться UI-шка такая, будет иконка
visual as well.
какая-то.
Yep, and some of them can get muffled out, like if you're in the middle of an intense fight, you might not hear the cue. We're just making sure that it's very clear when objectives are taken. They already have that global audio cue. Making sure that it is perfectly clear in all situations is important.
Okay, and that's it for bug fixes and, well, adjustments for Conquest, I should say. We move on to item
It's already
balance
a ton of stuff that's going to really shake up the meta. Like, duo lane is already going to have a lot of different things to consider now.
Jungle invades a little bit weaker. Invading the enemy camps are going to be a little bit weaker. Duo lanes really feels like it may be a little bit more
I mean, even mid laners are often invading red and the side harp, the back harpies when they have the opportunity to. So this is also going to affect them as well.
Onto items then.
Можно сказать, что шестой сезон стартует именно со следующего обновления.
It's a rework.
Значит, Аси переработали, теперь она стоит 2550 золота, дает 20% вампиризма, 20 физической силы.
It's Asi, and it's going to get some updates. Before we show off the rest of those stats, which you've pretty much seen most of it, the Asi situation, why are we looking to move this, and what is the goal?
So, bridge items as a whole is an interesting idea. We brought it in to be like, okay, you can trade off...
Нет, Аси теперь будет трехступенчатым предметом, как раньше, ну, то есть они просто переработали в 3 ступени, как шар злого рока, который они переделали.
Late game strength and late game optimization for early game power.
Sure.
For a lot of defensive items, that actually works out really well. You're able to get like Gladiator Shield, I think works out pretty well. The Stone of Binding is like a kind of offensive hybrid choice, feels really good. But for these more purely offensive oriented items, it very becomes a case of either they are the dominant choice always, or they are not the choice always.
Right.
It's very difficult, especially when you're considering the class to be like focus on DPS, to have it be viable but not dominant. And so we're just changing these items to not only add essentially new items to the hunter pool so they have different build opportunities, but also to make them overall more balanced. They're much more they're within the realm of being able to be balanced when they are tier 3 with a higher cost and the higher like buy-in.
Gotcha. So these are going to be tier 3 items now is the big key here. Okay.
So Asi and Ikval are going to be tier 3s.
Right. So Asi becoming a tier 3. There's some of the stats on the screen there. 2,550 gold, 20 physical power, 20 physical lifesteal. Don't worry, there's more. 25% attack.
25% атак спида и 15 пенетри.
Attack speed. 15 penetration and a passive. Passive is if you drop below 35% health, you gain an additional 30% lifesteal for 5 seconds. Could only occur once.
Ну и также, когда мы находимся ниже 35% здоровья, мы получаем дополнительно 30% физического вампиризма на 5 секунд. Каждые 15 секунд.
Every 15 seconds. Stat-wise, that looks great for hunters, and we could even see maybe some auto attack-based assassins.
Yeah, and with that tree, it kind of makes sense because Executioner is very much the armor shred, Chin Size is the health shred, and then this is kind of the jack of all trades mid item that brings you a good amount of power, good amount of attack speed, life steal, but it doesn't.
Что?
Можно хочешь, чтобы череп было видно?
Какой череп?
Какой маску?
Вот этот?
Да, наверное.
Ну сейчас, ребят, не до этого.
Outpace either one of those options when it comes to like raw DPS and those and like the tank shredding or health shredding capabilities.
Okay, well that's Asi. Don't worry, there's more. The only other item change, it'll be going to be another rework, is going to be Ikval, which is going to get it all. How do you say it?
Ишваль, значит, переработали тоже. Он был у нас только в тир 2, теперь он будет тир 3 предмет. То есть его 3 раза надо будет докупать. 30 физической силы дает, 30% атак спида.
Ikval. I actually don't know the proper way to say it.
Tomato. It's whatever. It's a made-up word.
Ikval.
If I've never heard of it, I'm like, it's a made-up word. I'll just say it how I see it. You know, just read it. Ikval builds from the Hunter's Bow. It's going to cost 2,450 gold. It's going to be 30 physical power, 30% attack speed, and the passive is every successful basic attack increases your physical power.
Каждая ваша удачная базовая атака увеличивает вашу силу на 15 и снижает вражескую скорость атаки на 10%. То есть на 30% вы всего можете снизить вражескую скорость атаки и при этом добавить себе еще 45 пауэра. Это очень много. И для стоимости шваля, я считаю, это предмет ОП.
Power by 15 and reduces enemies' attack speed by 10%. That can stack up to 3 times. So a swing of 45 power and 10% or 30% attack speed on an
Это что, до хрена, ребят.
Yeah, it's a pretty big swing, but it is much more expensive now. You'll note that it's not a power reduction, it's an attack speed reduction.
Я думаю, что это и на Кали будут собирать, и на Покасуру, это всех будут собирать.
If you were to kind of stack things like Poison Star and this item, it's a lot of DPS decrease if you just take away raw power or damage done. So we focused more on it being a offensive anti-attack speed item.
Жесткие,
A lot of
ребят,
characters right now that have that are very susceptible to
Если физик на физик в дуэлях, то это вообще просто жесть.
Where you might not be able to build items to really deal with it, especially as a hunter. This helps you do that.
Right, so there's a real focus there to try and help out against other hunters.
If you're fighting a Freya, you can build this and reduce the attack speed by 30%, which is a pretty big deal.
Вроде как на следующей неделе не все. Ну, посмотри, ранговый зайди.
Why are you giving
That's on Twitter already.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't read Twitter anymore. It's too much. God balance then. Onto that. That's the end of items. So just 2 new remix items to represent Igval and Asi. God balance then. Start things off. What's the major focus this week?
So the big focus here is because there's a lot of things coming to the game. Hunter changes. We got the dual lane changes. The invade changes.
Yep.
We're looking at specifically the very top end gods, the ones that are most banned.
Overperforming maybe.
Сейчас они будут фокусироваться, так как очень много изменений произойдет, они будут фокусироваться на тех богах, которые наиболее часто находятся в бане.
Overperforming maybe, and so we're looking to really target that list. We do have a few shifts, and we do have a few buffs that are kind of outside that.
Okay.
Where we felt these characters could use the additional bonus, but largely this is targeted towards addressing some of the top meta picks.
Cool, then we'll start off at the beginning with the A's. Al Quan will be the first one there. Dragon's Call, we've decreased the attack damage. It was 35 to 95. It's now going to be 30 to 90. So just a little bit.
Ну, на 5 урона снизили единичку, но это фигня.
Correct. With the new passive being able to heal max health, we saw some Bruiser Arquangs going to the solo lane. We also saw Jungle being able to be very aggressive and land a lot of those base attacks. We're just toning down the base top end potential that he has when he's able to actually get all 6 of these out.
Gotcha, because we've seen a lot of rings being built on him as well now, which is causing that to... that makes sense. Bacchus next on the list, and yeah, the lad's getting a nerf. I saw...
Бахус. Снизили... Damage Mitigate с 7%, то есть снижение всего входящего урона с 7% до 5%. Что, простите, while smash это как? То есть пока он нокнутый 14% до 10%?
It coming before the patch where he got the trick. Drunk Almighty decreased damage mitigation from 7% to 5% while tipsy and 14% to 10% while smashed. So overall, his Drunk Almighty just not going to do as much. But
не трогайте Бахуса, джустер не годует. На самом деле не такой сильный нерв, ребят.
They'll give the bonuses of the Belch of the Gods and the flop. But also more for Bacchus, the Belch of the Gods. We're going to decrease the base damage done.
Вот это плохо. Строечки снизили еще урон за тик на 5 единиц. Ну, это тоже не так критично.
It was 25 to 85. It's now going to be 20 to 80. So just a little bit off the top, and obviously that's ticked.
Это нормально.
Yes, largely it was when he had access to the 14% and the stun and the high base damage, wave clear poke, giant stun area. It made him very difficult to fight lane.
So
now we're reducing his damage. We're making it so that he can take some more damage from when you try and counter engage on him. He should be much more manageable.
Не, ну с другой стороны, он сейчас был в каждой игре и был
Next up on the B category is Bacchusora. He's also going to get some nerfs.
А вот это за что?
Take description now shows deployable duration. Also, in the description now includes slow information. Does it persist after leaving?
Yeah, for example, that was just not clear in the text. So now it should be clear in the text.
Neat. But not only that, decrease the duration of cone auto attacks. It was 6 seconds. That's going to be 5 seconds. So.
Ну, я вам так скажу, что ну для меня лично, я хоть и сделал на нем свою первую пенту, этот бог какой-то, ну немощный. И то, что его еще нерфит, ну я хрен. Ну, true damage окей у него был. У него был чистый урон. Теперь у него будет на ультимативной на 1 секунду меньше длиться коновая атака конусом. А теперь на 1 секунду меньше бомбить.
Decrease the CC immunity duration of this ultimate as well. This is actually probably more impactful than people realize. 1.5 seconds to 1.
Также снизили иммунитет к контролю. У него раньше был 1,5 секунды в ультимативной, теперь будет всего секунду. Короче, Бакасура убили.
More like a lot on paper, Pom, but the window for being able to use it like a beads to an extent is a lot smaller.
Yes, correct. So we've also seen like duration-based ultimates that even taking a second off can have big impacts. We saw this with Opwash.
Yeah.
Bakasura having less time to be able to just go chomp, 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 chomp in a big area, especially when like his area of like the auto attack range is extended. People can create distance, and if you lose the crucial amount of distance you need to get the kill, that's a big deal. Also, people can now CC you more quickly, so they might immune something, but now you can turn around and like on her impale him away or stun him, and then he has to try and catch back up, and he has even less duration to actually utilize that cone. This is going to give a lot more counterplay opportunities to Bakasura's ult.
Okay, so a little bit of a nerf for Bakasura. Next up is a
большой
change. It's going to be a shift here, guys, so just stick with me for a minute. What's the reason for the shift, first of all?
So I think the big thing is for Fenrir, he's never really excelled as a jungler. He's largely kind of existed as a fringe support or solo laner when like assassin solo laners have existed. We're focusing more on making him more viable in the jungle and toning down his support. Support was a big worry for us at the start of the season. We saw him really, really dominating the pool, but he's fallen off since then. But we still feel like there's room for him to come.
Ну, я вам скажу, что вот этот нерв Фенрира неоправданный. Ну, окей, они на единичке снизили на 20 единиц урона ассасину. Это просто до хрена.
Back in that role, we want to make sure that that's reasonable to fight against, but also give him additional tools to help him clear in the jungle.
Вот это сильный нерв, ребят, 20 урона. Если другим они снижают по 10, то Бакасуре они на секунду снизили и минус 20 урона на первом уровне. Как ты лес будешь чистить? Вопрос.
Okay, then Unchained, as you can see, decrease the base damage of this from 95 to 335, will now be 75 to 315. We've also decreased the amount of cooldown decrease successful hit from 50% to 30%.
Yeah.
So if you actually...
Если раньше вы единичкой попадали, и у вас на 50% снижалось, ну, если вы попадали по богу, единичкой, своим станом, вот этим вот, ну, или просто прыжком, у вас на 50% снижался откат способности. Теперь только на 30. Совсем не тот бог, которого я бы хотел, чтобы занерфили. Вот это просто жесть, ребят. Вот это просто жесть.
Yeah, and so that's going to be toned down, but to counteract the loss there, it looks like we're going to be looking towards Brutalize as well. Brutalize, this ability will now always cleave.
А вот это хорошо. Теперь троечка, у него всегда будет АОЕ урон. Без 5 зарядов. И это круто. Дальше.
Always cleave?
Yeah, always cleave. It will now always cleave.
Okay, on everything?
On everything.
All the time?
All the time. But we did nerf the cleave damage a little bit because that would be a lot.
I was about to read that bit, but I just already realized that means cleave all the time. Reduce cleave damage from 75% of total to 50% of total.
Да, и снизили также дамаг на 25% с этого клива. Я сначала обрадовался, но потом меня немножко спустили, точнее, очень сильно спустили с небес на землю. 75% в АУЕ били, когда троечкой зарядили ее на 5 стаков, на 5 рун. Ой, 75% вокруг наносили урона. Теперь только 50.
Yep.
At max runes, this ability will deal an additional 15% of your physical power per hit.
So it goes from 200 to...
А вот это хорошо. Теперь на 5 рунах он будет дополнять к бруталайзу еще 15% вашей физической силы за хит. Это до хрена.
260% scaling total.
Gotcha. So if you see...
То есть до 60%... До 60% будет разгонять. Охренеть. А вот это мощно. Вот это мощно. Вот это интересно на самом деле.
Steven Howland, then use that, you get the extra more powers, right? Okay. So it's
Но теперь это лесник. Они возвращают к роли лесника.
Because I feel like now the choice between stunning a target versus having more damage on the target is a much more interesting choice than essentially choosing to cleave or choosing a stun. Because in a lot of cases you'd actually not use brutalize because you're saving the stun charge. Now you actually have cases where like, no, I really want to burn this target down really quickly. I'm going to use brutalize max charge to do more damage.
So this actually helps with minion wave clear a little bit.
Minion wave clear, jungle camp clear.
Но теперь он, вы понимаете, что теперь, если раньше вы стартовали с единички, все время качали единичку, теперь вы будете качать тройку. Потому что тройка наносит просто, брутальный дэмэдж, реально. 15% до 60 стакает. Последняя тычка бьет плюс 60% физического урона, если вы настакали 5 руночек.
И теперь вы, когда будете думать, ага, а застанет мне его, или же все-таки пронести урон, у вас теперь будет выбор.
Clear and
Team
power
fights,
scaling.
I guess.
Just
And the power
building
scaling.
more offensive items instead of purely bruiser.
Okay, so Unchange goes down, Unchained goes down, I should say, and Brutalize goes up in terms of potential use. Freya is the next up, and as you mentioned,
Freya.
nerfs for
Нерфите! Нерфите!
Freya this week.
На
No
один
real surprise.
урона?
Northern Lights decreased base damage from 11 to 75, will now be 10 to 60. We've also decreased the slow of this from 25% to just 15%.
Угу, еще замедление снизили.
Decreased minion explosion damage from 50% to 25%. I don't know it's 50%. That's
It was
insane.
50%.
That's very high.
Yep.
Aurora Blade.
Также Explosion Damage снизили по миньонам. Это хорошо, то есть ей будет гораздо сложнее чистить теперь.
As well, decreased range damage magical power scaling from 15% to 10% as well.
Также снизили эскалацию урона с 15 до 10%, но это очень хорошо. Это очень
So overall,
хорошо.
her damage numbers just seem to have come down ever so slightly.
Yes.
And on top of that, the slow isn't as impactful.
Нет,
Yes,
Артур,
and so the big thing here is
пересматривают
with
очень много
Freya,
нового.
we've been working towards solving frustration of her burst potential, her hyper carry where she went from 0 to 100 and back down to 0. She's now much more kind of consistent character that can then spike up in power, but doesn't spike up to a point where it's unmanageable. And with that release, we saw that her
Да
wave
не-не-не,
clear became
она все равно будет, Паладин Степан, она все равно будет такой же жесткой, просто не такой имбовой.
too high, and her ability to slow a target was a bit too regular. It was if you landed the first shot, you could reliably land the follow-up shots, which made it so that you were actually hitting a bit harder, even if it was over more time. So we're toning down some of the damage components, and we're making the slow a little bit less intense, so there's more opportunity to juke and avoid Freya's auto attacks.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on how that Freya plays out. Next up, Hun Bats. A buff for the young lad here. Hun Bats going to get a bit of love. It's an interesting one. Sacred Monkey. This ability can now re-hit minions, but still only hits gods once. So that basically means if you're in the jungle and I'm clearing like...
То есть теперь, когда вы выпускаете обезьянку, она может прыгнуть 2 раза по одному и тому же миньону. То есть как у Нижи такая тр-тр-тр-тр-тр. Но по богу только раз. По богу только раз. То есть проще чистить кампа будет за Хунбатса. Кто мейнил когда-то обезьянку, возвращаемся к обезьянке.
The red buff, for example, I throw the Sacred Monkey out, it'll hit the big one, the 2 side ones, and then back to the big one.
Correct, which is a pretty good boost to clear speed. Mid Harpies, you get double bounce, 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 bounce. And you also, for the Oracles, you get that same bounce.
I think one thing for you guys at home, though, is if you're going to use the minion wave to hit a god, make sure you jump earlier now, because otherwise it'll go back to a minion.
It will always try and find a new target.
That's what I'm saying.
So
yeah.
it'll always search for a new target, and if it can't find a new target, it'll be like, well, have I hit a minion before? Cool, I'll jump to that.
Okay, cool. So it'll always go back to minions, so if they're in a minion wave and you hit them, you probably want to hit your monkey button again, just to make sure you jump to them, if that's what you were going for. Next up is Jormungandr. Yeah, Jormungandr is going to get some buffs this week.
Jormungandra апнули. Физическую защиту ему подняли с 18 до 21.
Overall, pretty well received. He has a really cool ult. We've seen a lot of people like just taking screenshots of giant arcs around the map. But his overall performance has been a bit lackluster. He's very kind of bruiser oriented. And especially during like early stages for him, that kind of like his pressure that he could provide. We released him in a state where he felt like he had a good counterplay. A little bit too much counterplay. He had a little bit too low defenses. He was already a squishier guardian than most other ones. And overall, his ultimate had a very long duration because of the roaming potential. Those are two things we're toning back, essentially back up.
Okay. So, base stats, as you can see, 18 to 21 on his physical protections. And the World Serpent, I was going to say the Wind Serpent, getting confused with Kukulkan.
Different character.
Yeah, the World Serpent decreased cooldown. It was 120 to 100 seconds.
Также ультимативно снизили откат способности до 100 секунд на всех рангах.
It's not going to be 100 at all ranks, which I think is pretty viable.
Yeah, I think people have, especially after playing against him for as long as we have now, realize that there's a lot of counterplay opportunity. Ult, you can see where he's at, you can see what he's trying to do, you can juke a lot of things.
Ребят, ни в одной моба игре нет такого, чтобы не было метовых богов. Успокойтесь, это нормально. Нету такой моба игры, где был бы идеальный баланс. Такого не бывает.
Yeah, I mean...
It's about time.
Yeah, we can go there.
King Arthur is getting buffed. I'm joking, it's a nerf and it's been warranted for a while.
Overhead Slice, это двойка, по-моему? Или единичка все-таки? Подождите, Overhead Slice. Я на всех играю, просто на некоторых я слишком тур, чтобы играть вот и все. Так, кто мне подскажет, что такое overhead slice? Я вот вообще не знаю. Двойка, это единичка или тройка? Кто подскажет? Давно, Антох, давно. Руки прочь.
Overhead slice, decreased
В общем, у
melee
него
bonus
начальный
damage from
бонус
50%.
снизили.
It's now going to
Единичка,
be
да,
30
вот все.
scaling
Все-таки
to
единичка,
50%,
и
and then 20.
если у него раньше она на всех уровнях давала бонус 50%, то теперь на первом 30, потом 35, потом 40, потом 45, потом 50. Ну, в общем, ничего страшного, разве что чистить будет сложнее. Также его троечка снизили то количество энергии, которое он получает, с 2 до 1,5 за каждый хит.
Sundering Strike, Excalibur's Fury, both abilities now cost 40 mana. So energy regeneration is the big point I can see there.
Yes. In our last kind of patch notes,
We buffed it.
We buffed him. Specifically, we were being very cautious because we knew that he had a high skill ceiling. People were learning him still. We're like, but we still feel like his energy gain is a problem, so we bumped that to 2. And he kind of went crazy.
Because he got too much energy.
People have learned to play him better. They've learned how to utilize and gain that energy, and he got extra resources. So we're partially reverting because we still think he does need a little bit more energy gain than 1.
Yeah, when he first came out, he did some more
But keeping the fact that he has come out so strong, even if he's not performing well,
В 11 карта будет, Антох. В 11 карту покажет.
we're also making target adjustments to his early wave clear and early boxing potential. And the ultimate was kind of weird in the fact that it costs mana, which means if you're fighting a King Arthur and you see 0 mana, everything in the game has always told you 0 mana target, they can't do anything, jump them. King Arthur is the exception. Now it'll...
You're lying there. There's one more.
I mean, Colin.
Agni.
But he has like little things above his head.
Is that enough of a visual? Yeah, you're right. That's fair. So Arthur nerfs.
Да, на кастинках
Cool.
увидели
Next
у
up,
нас.
Merlin nerfs. It's a great patch, kids. You'll all be excited. Merlin Eclipse.
понерфили.
Actually, first of all, tell me about how Merlin's done.
He's done pretty well.
Ага. Ну, это не критично. С 70% до 60% у аркана стойки, у Эклипса, это, я так понимаю, единичка, снизили урон с 70 до 60%.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
He does a lot of damage.
No, really?
Stance and does a lot of damage.
So, this is what we're going to do for Merlin. Eclipse, reduced initial hit scaling from 70% to 60%. Frostbolt, Gem of Isolation, slow applies after Frostbolt, does damage and
Значит, гемоизоляция теперь замедляет только после того, как его единичка нанесет урон. Единичка в стойке льда, ну, в стойке морозной. То есть единичка, которая наносит этот фростболт, которым вы бьете, она только после того, как нанесет урон, только после этого будет замедляться изоляция вашим предметом гемоизоляции. Почему так сделали? Потому что урон единички зависит от того, ну, как бы, насколько замедлена цель. Чем больше замедления на ней, тем больше урон. Поэтому сделали вот так. То есть, чтобы сначала тройку делали, а потом единичку, а не наоборот.
Does not get the bonus damage unless the target is slowed previously. Reduce bonus damage from this from 20% to 15%. So no more of your stupid Gem of Isolation.
Теперь он будет получать, ну, Frostbolt единичка в ледяной стойке будет получать урон только после того, как цель была замедлена. Уже была замедлена.
As they once were.
Correct.
Not only that, Blizzard several bug fixes that were causing this ability to do too much damage than intended.
Также пофиксили то, что Blizzard, это вот ледяной дождь, который падал сверху, наносил больше урона, чем было задумано из-за багов каких-то. Они пофиксили эти проблемы.
And Flicker, increase the cooldown of Flicker. Ooh, this hurts. From 22 to 18 is...
И, собственно, его блинк понерфили откат способности на 2 секунды на всех уровнях.
Now going to be 24 to 20. So on that level, when you see that change, you're already like, oh, that's a big change. But then obviously there's cooldown that goes into Mage's builds anyway, which you can look to utilize, which will bring it back down.
And Merlin uses that pretty heavily. He's almost always seen with the Chronos Pendant. But these are really targeted towards making him more gankable, especially early on, and making it so that when he does answer back with abilities, fires abilities at you, they're not going to hit quite as hard. You're going to have more opportunity to actually be on him and not just get immediately blown up, unless he's in Fire Stance, because Fire Stance is the super turn and burn stance.
Yeah, we know that one.
But it's also the one that causes him, he has to be close range, he has a deployable area you can step out of. The other abilities had a little bit less counterplay opportunities, kind of throws him out in a big area, and so now you have lower damage there, and also the item interaction with the gem was causing him to do a lot of damage with Frostbolt. Now it's going to be more situational, and now you either need to set up with Blizzard or have teammates help you.
Naja also going to get a little bit of a nerf or two here. Windfire wields added a note that enemies caught in this effect do not count as being CC.
People assumed Runeforge Hammer works.
Right. So it wasn't?
No, it doesn't work. And specifically, it's
the ultimate
knockups don't count because there's no duration, there's no tag essentially on them. And so Naja ult doesn't have that. And we
Они убрали... нет, они добавили записочку о том, что ультимативное нижи не является крауд-контроль эффектом, не является хард-контролем.
We considered, well, we could try and find a solution here, but there's also the case of Runeforge Hammer interacting with this high of base stats or base damage and this high of scaling would potentially mean that this character has to be hyper nerfed. And so we'd rather keep it as is. I think
чтобы те, кто пикают молоток на нижу, не думали, что это будет у нее работать.
Most people understand that like this ability kind of functions differently. It's a cinematic CC.
It's got a lot of damage too.
Which is kind of like a loose term, but it's just different than other CCs.
Sure. And with that, not just that, decrease the base damage per hit of this ability of Windfire Wheels, 40 to 120 is now going to be 30 to 110, so just a little bit off the top there. And decrease in
на 10 урона снизили за хит.
Initial and landing damage from 80
а также
to 280.
Снизили урон приземления на 10 тоже.
People now be 50.
Нет, на первом уровне на 30. На первом уровне на 30, но на последнем на 10 всего.
To 270. So Windfire Wheels overall just getting a bit of a nerf, but also clearing up the confusion around Runeforge.
And specifically, this is targeted toward base because what we're really addressing is Naja support here.
Right.
Naja support has been very popular, very strong, and that's largely been enabled by the super high base damage of this ultimate, as well as the protection shred on Universe Ring Toss, which is the next point.
And it is the next point. Decrease protection debuff from 15 to scaling from 10 to 14 as you max up this.
Также снизили баф ее защиты с 15 до 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
So once you get to max rank of Ring Toss, then you're doing just under by one.
And we're largely going to watch how this affects Assassin Naja when Naja's being played in the jungle. He has a lot of scaling, so hopefully it will be fine. There's a lot of damage builds that you can build that will still 100% 100-0 target and hit them. So we feel like he'll be in a fine spot, but we will be watching it closely.
Okay. Next up, Pele nerfs. Pele Eruption decreased in the damage. It was 80 to 260. It's now going to be 70 to 250. So 10 off all ranks there. And Volcanic Lightning decreased the initial damage. It was 200 to 520. It's now going to be 180 to 520. So just an early game nerf on the Volcanic Lightning.
Наверное, ультимативный на 20 в самом начале, но в конце остается тот же. И на единичке снизили на 10 на всех рангах.
The early game potential to really burst someone down was a bit too high, and that caused a lot of games to snowball if she got a level lead and could really pressure that. We just want to make sure that's a little bit more fair to fight lower damage on the hard CC, lower damage on the engage ult.
Next up is a Ra buff. It's a small one, but a decent one. Base stats increase the physical protection per level.
Подняли, неплохо, на 5 десятых, типа, подняли ему защиту. Ну, типа, на всех уровнях это неплохо. На всех уровнях это неплохо. За 24 уровня он получит 12 физической защиты.
From 2.5 to 3. Now 0.5 per level is not much, but times up by 20 can add up a little bit.
Yeah, so essentially he'll always benefit from this protection, which is already a powerful buff. But he's a character that needs to kind of get close range. He needs to kind of skirt the line between mid and close range to utilize his heal effectively, to utilize his blind effectively, and set himself up to land the one reliably. So for being that close, we feel like he needs a little bit more physical.
Rama also going to get a bit of a buff here. Pick me up. Decrease the mana cost. It was 80 to 100. That was 100 at max rank?
Yeah.
Ага, снизили ману Раме. Но что такое pick me up, я, честно говоря, не знаю. Это... Где же чатик, Ромка Мотор? В смысле? Тут. Что-то баг какой-то. Снизили мана-кост ему на первом уровне аж на 20 маны.
260 to 80. So a bit of a reduction in mana cost for Rama there. The boy be swinging and speeding up even faster.
Yep.
Last but not least, on this section, we made it.
We did it.
Another one down. Vamana. A nerf of Vamana.
Снизили на 5 скорости 380 до 375 базовую скорость передвижения вам.
Wow, we really hit the
Это
right
не
ones, I feel like.
Yeah, we hit a
For
lot of them.
Mana, nerf, base stats, decreased movement speed. Oh man, he used to be so fast.
Yeah.
He's not fast anymore.
He was only one under Mercury.
There was a reason for that.
Yes, because
He was the fastest baby alive.
I think so in general his abilities were really strong and potent, largely because his ultimate felt underwhelming. So you needed a strong core kit, star movement. We buffed the ultimate, so now it doesn't feel as bad to use. It actually feels quite good to use. You can run people down. You're pretty tanky in it. Even anti-heal doesn't fully stop you anymore. And so with that, we feel we can tone back some of his core strengths.
So movement speed goes down by 5, 375. Armored Umbrella, we're going to decrease the base damage of this ability. It was 85 to 305. It's staying at 85 at the start, but it's going to go down at the other.
На последнем уровне сильно так ему снизили его зонтик. Причем, ну, не знаю, это как-то 20 урона просто выкроили. В начале у него как был, так и остается. То есть он в начале вы не почувствуете.
An umbrella rank. Decrease the attack and movement speed slow of this. It was 30%. That's just going to come down to 25%. So
также ему снизили замедление. Когда вы ездили своим зонтиком по людям. 30 до 25%.
Umbrella rank still does the same damage, just doesn't have as much of an impact.
Yeah, so light adjustments around the kit. It's not like one ability got super heavily hit, but all these combined are going to have an impact on its performance.
That's a lot of stuff, guys. In all honesty, there's so many things going on this week. I don't know which one to touch on, but a lot of stuff that's going to be available for people to test out and play, because obviously there's so many changes this patch.
Yeah, especially dual lane and the jungle invade changes. That'll have kind of a sweeping impact, and so we're going to have to watch really closely in the coming patches to see what other characters we need to address.
Очень странно. Вообще по-другому мета будет выглядеть. Из-за того, что в лес инвейды будут уже не такие окупабельные.
But for now, why don't we leave you with some Darkness Falls?
Чтоб в лес не бегал, да. О, новый боевой пропуск. Вот пиле, которую мы получим. Кулин. Чулан. Керну. Красивый, кстати. Ссылку постоянно делают, надоело. Вот что мы получим в боевом пропуске новом. 4 вот эти скина.
Welcome back, everybody, to the casual set. I'm still aggro, though it has been roughly 16 decades since you've seen from me last. Pawn and Hindu, a million different balance changes, and I'm very excited to get a chance to play test them all. But for now, it's time for us to go over the battle pass that you just saw in a little bit more depth. And joining me to do that, of course, it's Tina and Ben, some of the tried and trues, but we got a new face with us here. Kiana, welcome in, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kiana. I'm a concept artist, so I work with the concept team to
кто делает концепт, по которому потом уже делают модель.
Design the skins.
Это ее изначальные арты, вот эти вот,
and you were in a spooky mood
из
recently,
которых делают вот
based
такие
on this battle pass. That's the whole theme of the Darkness Falls battle pass, right, Tina? Is that we're going a little bit more spooky this time?
Yes, it's all themed around the spooky. So we will be getting we're going to hit a lot of different parts of spoopy. Like you're going to get, the werewolves, and then you're going to get
water spoop.
The water spoop. And
water spoop is dangerous.
Water spoop is really freaky.
Yeah.
Like those aliens down there, really freaky.
Yeah. Yes, apparently I do know about that now. I'm yes-anding you, not that I have any actual understanding of what you're talking about. Well, let's go into Terror of the Deep Scylla. Now I'm going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, now you know what I mean.
The aliens that you can find in the depths of the ocean. This is one that it's the kind of the title. You can see it right above this shoulder right here. And it's pretty spoopy, but it's also kind of cute in a way.
Yeah, if she bites your head off.
Well, like from a distance.
Yeah, like Scylla skins. It's
right.
Like one of the creepier Scylla skins. Just saying something.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. A lot of Scylla skins are kind of cuddly, even though she's not particularly.
Still cute with the smile, but it's like then you see the little anglerfish pop up. You're like,
oh shit.
Yeah. Anglerfish.
Really
That's
scary.
I love it. I love the way it looks already. Here it is, Terror of the Deep Scylla. And I got it. Anytime I see has an awesome VXD, that's exactly where I want to start. I just want to start here. I'm sorry I'm jumping the gun. I know I am. I'm breaking all the rules. And I just want to see it. She gets to ride around with her little anglerfish.
Like you got a little dolphin next year or something like that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we don't need to see anything else because I'm buying it. That's simple enough for me.
Give us a good close-up.
That is beautiful.
Sexy, да.
Absolutely love it. So what, I don't know if you worked on this one in particular, Kiana, but as a concept artist, when you think of Scylla as a, small ocean monster, how do you kind of translate that concept into this?
Yeah, I didn't design this one in particular, but I remember when we were first brainstorming for Scylla, and we had to do a dark-themed Scylla skin, which is like impossible because she has so many cool dark skins.
Right.
But once we kind of pitched as a concept team the underwater, like deep sea theme, it was a perfect fit. It ties into Scylla's lore.
Sure.
There's so many creepy deep sea creatures. There's like endless possibilities for this one.
No one has looked at an anglerfish and been like, yeah, I want to hang out with that. Like, you're gonna it's gonna feel pretty creepy for you. Love the water bubbly effects. And it's not like those friendly bubbles we put on skin sometimes, right? These are much more
aggressive,
menacing bubbles.
And they
those
turn
jellyfish?
into jellyfish. Yep.
Клево, да, окей. Почему не делают на персонажей непопулярных
скинов?
I really like that we're doing more undersea skins because the effects team really kills it on those ocean effects.
Absolutely. They've definitely got those on lock. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Terror of the Deep Scylla.
Attack! Middle lane! Defend! Woohoo! Spectacular! You are something.
Может быть, 3 года ждали скин.
Come into the light.
Не, она клевая.
I tell so many bad fish jokes. I feel guilty.
Я чувствую себя виновной.
That wasn't you that laughed, was it?
In the kelp wanted section.
Отвратный войс. Так в этом задумка.
It's just like we only get so many laughs. There's like a quota.
Он будет не в этом, не в боевом пропуске Хаски.
Just look deep into my eyes.
Наверное, это вообще один скин, не считая реколору. Согласен с тобой.
Dude, she's gonna bite your head off.
Yeah, that did not sound.
Я люблю Эрнга, но
It's just
скин
like,
I love when she did the voice on like while we were recording. It was so freaky. Like I was like, man, it's really scaring me. And then with the reverb on it, oof.
Yeah, it's a perfect
she did
tone.
A really good
it's
job.
underwater a little bit, but it's just spooky in general,
yes.
which is the goal of the Battle Pass, right? That's where we want to be. Well, we want to be there with Beast Within Cucullin as well. That's the next one here on the list. This it seems so like obvious, right? He's a man, he turns into a werewolf, but I'm still like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. That works perfectly for Cucullin.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
really?
I did that in this one. Yeah, this one I was so excited for. They wanted to do something beast-like or werewolf-like. And I'm a really big fan of the RDO skin, the Fiend Hunter one.
Oh, yeah.
So they let me do it in that kind of skin theme. So that was really exciting. It's got kind of a gothic vibe instead of just a regular werewolf.
Very cool. The dark reds. Very different than a lot of the other Cucullin skins. A lot of the other Cucullin skins, it's really disformed. He's kind of like disfigured when he transforms. Yeah. My man's is not looking particularly pretty, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be toxic, but we can call a spade a spade.
It's okay.
This werewolf, this is a cool werewolf. It's not like a disfigured werewolf. That's just a straight up werewolf, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm about it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, he looks really cool. He has big hands and big teeth.
We try to normalize his model too. Like his arms really big usually, like super big, and we try to make sure it was a little bit like more reasonable. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I try to mess with the proportions of him a little bit, so it feels like a completely different character.
Digigrade legs and everything.
Yeah, I was really excited for that. I worked with the rigging and animation team. He has, I don't know if you can see it, but his legs are digigrade, which means that it's like an actual animal where basically the heel is lifted up, like an actual animal's would be.
Oh yeah, you can totally see that in the way that is in that werewolf stance.
Yeah. We managed to do that on the regular rig, which was really impressive though. I was amazed that they were able to do that.
That's amazing. So normally I ask Tina to make up a backstory for the skin because I think it's fun for me.
I have one prepared.
Yeah, perfect. She made one. Yeah.
Perfect. So lay it on us.
Yeah. So the idea for this one was that he and RDO both work at a paranormal investigative agency.
Okay.
Where they basically have to hunt down paranormal creatures. And they both get cursed, but while Ardeo, she is able to control it and she uses those powers for good, Cucullin totally gives in to the beast form. He's addicted to the power.
Okay.
So he doesn't care about using it for good. He just goes full evil on this one.
That is
Yes.
I love the level of backstory. Why is there a Hades in the background, by the way? What is this? This guy's just crossing the street.
It's the spoopy patch, dude.
It is. This is spooky,
Yeah,
and there's
that's
just this
true.
guy sticking around, hanging.
That's
What is
so
he
random.
doing
What
here?
is he-
What is he doing? I'm so confused. I had a really pointless quip about your story that I really enjoyed, and now I've lost it because Hades stole
You got
it.
distracted, dude.
I know.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, did he go evil because the agency didn't give him a raise and gave Ardeo one instead? Or his benefits were denied? I don't know. There was just so many questions I had. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Beast Within Cucullin.
Excellent. Attack. Defend.
Ничего не изменилось,
Enemy
по-моему.
missing middle. You impress me. I am the alpha here. Let's play fetch. We can use your skull as the ball.
Мы можем
If you
использовать
think I
ваш
need
череп
the
как
moon to
мячик.
change, you don't know how unstable I can be.
Опа, на
Did
босса
you really
пошли.
bring silver? You idiot! Quicksilver is mercury! You want another one
Да,
already?
обновление
Here
хорошее.
is a handy one. Go ask him.
Единственное, что я теперь не знаю, мне надо искать по ходу будет кого-то для ранговых.
So that's him normally in his human form, but we got something going on in the transformation
yeah.
as well.
Для меня,
these form
для
was
стримера,
really
это не очень, конечно.
Oh, that's such a good
he
laugh.
wags his tail on the laugh.
Oh, he does.
Oh,
He's happy.
cute.
Because he's murdering you.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really awesome. Just an
tail.
extra little detail there for Beats Within Cucullin. Definitely just amazing. Love it. Heretic Kernanos also is part of this battle pass. This one is a recolor of the recent Hellscape Kernanos skin. And the green color scheme instead of the red and orange just has that. It's a sickly green.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not.
Yep.
Green's my favorite color, but it isn't. This isn't what I'm talking about when I say that. This is. It reminds me of Plague Lord Hades.
Yeah.
Not the Hades that was crossing the street.
Ну, красиво смотрится, да.
That's the way we do it. But again, all those effects very similar to what you should already be familiar with Hellscape Kernanos. Though I will say that the ult on this skin is probably my favorite Kernanos ult that we have. It's super cool. Love the way that one works. Okay, I don't know if we're coming back. Okay, let's do Spectral Blade Pele. I was gonna say I want to get onto this one. This one is one that I know people were very excited about right away. That card art is
dope.
Sweet.
Yeah. For sure.
Super, super cool. This one a little bit less, I'd say, right in front of us than the werewolf Cucullin. But what was the idea behind Spectral Blade Pele?
Joseph Peck did this concept, and I think the original idea was that she's a possessed armor. Yeah. Which was really cool. And there's a lot of there's these crying angels on it.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
Very gothic,
like
gothic
a banshee.
architecture.
Yeah. This kind of stuff. Yeah.
The hair texture. That's something that always stood out to me about Pele. Right on cue. She does a little hair flip.
She's born with it.
Yeah. Even the default Pele model. That's something that always stood out to me. But to get it to look this good in ghostly form as well is really quite impressive.
Ну покажите нам скиллы. Или правда занерфили?
That is so cool.
How'd you like that green?
Yeah, that green is also
That's a good green, right?
sickly, but it's good at the same
it's a good green.
I like it. It reminds me of the old. You guys ever have those high C, like the neon green high C's when you were young?
Oh, это клево.
That's yeah. Oh, that is so spooky.
It's like blood and green.
Yeah, and I love the way it like a lot of ghostly apparition things you see. It kind of is like there and then instantly disappears. It feels like it doesn't linger. There's no lingering effects or anything like that. It's there and then it's gone all of a sudden. And
that's cool. Yeah.
That bloodiness underneath the volcanic lightning, super awesome. I feel like if someone told me, I mean, concept art is definitely not my strong suit by any stretch. But if someone was like, "Hey, make Ghost Pele," I'd be like, "What? how? Like, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know where to start. But this definitely turned out quite nicely. Does she leave little footsteps, like ghostly footsteps? Is that what I saw? In her 3? I thought I might have seen that. Might have just been. They're like.
Нам уже показывали пятый камелот, а когда откроют, я не знаю.
Fits really well. Her being an assassin.
Yes.
Right.
Being very spectral. Just she's here and then she's gone.
That's right, and so are you. As long as she's doing her job properly. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Spectral Blade Pele.
Attack. Defend. Enemy missing. Right. Ooh. Ooh. Petrifying. You will all leave here as spirits. That I promise.
Мне нравится.
Ghastly. Why couldn't the spectre
мы пойдем в бою. Блин.
Because they were transparent.
Ой, переименовать. Сейлор разработал один.
But if they were okay, never mind. I'm not getting into that one.
Топор.
Those are some of the skins that will be featured on the Darkness Falls Battle Pass. Thank you guys for joining me to talk about it. We'll have more skins to go over later on in the show. But first, we got one big skin. It's the Assault map. It got a whole new one. We've got some info on that coming up.
Сейчас нам покажет Storm. Большой скин.
Yeah, I'm going to be queuing some Assault Barracuda. Watch your back. I'm coming for that Assault Elo. I've got AJ and I've got Christian on with me now to discuss the brand new Assault map coming to Smite. Guys, why Assault? What made Assault next up on the list?
Well, it's an exciting mode. It's one of our core modes, I guess I'd say, and it's the one that hasn't had love in a little while. So we've gotten Arena recently and Conquest. Clash even before that, I think. Joust before that, so it's Assault time.
It's Assault time, and it's a good time to be an Assault player, I'd say, because it is looking really, really cool. Christian, when everyone came to you and was like, all right, it's time to make some changes to the Assault map, what were some of the things that you really wanted to either preserve from the old one or make new in this new one?
Right, so they first approached us. We were actually supposed to just do like slight texture updates to it just to kind of help bring it in line with our current art style. And as soon as we started getting into it, we're like, let's just redo the whole thing theme-wise, right? It's still Norse and stuff, and we did keep a lot of the themes so that players weren't like, because I know there's a lot of players who love the old Assault map. So we wanted to keep a lot of that stuff in there, but we wanted to just really update all the art to fit our current art style and something that would last for a lot of years to come.
I'd say it was one of our older maps. It was the one that still had the most positive feedback about just how it looked. So Christian's team really tried to do as much as they could to stay true to the original ideas and a lot of the original visual themes there, while updating the art set in a lot of other more like detailed ways, I guess.
Before we get into the details, the biggest question that I have is, will my ears still be blown out by dogs barking at any point of this map?
No, the dogs are gone.
Okay.
Which I used to get like bug reports and suggestion tweets like every day for like, turn them down, make them. We did turn them down eventually. Didn't matter. People still complained. So no more giant barking chaos dogs. I'm sorry if you missed them dearly. They were pretty interesting, but a strange stylistic choice for a Norse map.
I actually didn't even know the dogs were there for a long time. For some reason, I always spawned on the order side all the time.
So
I
they're kind of both your environment too. Like, yeah.
Well, they're behind you, so a lot of people didn't. You got to look behind you. So
those are gone. Rest in peace, doggos.
Have to pay
Demon doggos of Asgard.
In the chat.
Maybe April Fools they'll come back.
Hey, that's a good
We
point.
tried to bring them back once already, but since they're like pieces of environment, they're much harder to do anything else.
Сейчас, секунду. Да, я сейчас их потише сделаю, ребят. Да, ребята, я хотел напомнить, что у нас 23 и 24 числа пройдет мажор среди дуэлистов, на котором будет разыграно много гемов. Также у нас 26 числа будет разыграно подарков на 8000 гемов на новом мероприятии Kill Defense Tier будет называться. Защити или убей Тира. Такой небольшой анонс. Сейчас я их сделаю потише, мне просто не мог OBS трогать. Пока игра
more like statues.
Now, even though there won't be dogs, the Titan, Phoenixes, and Minions have all been updated to Season 5 Conquest models, so those will get a little bit of a touch-up. Well, I guess it has been a long time for the Assault map, now that I read that out loud.
Поздравляю тебя с днем рождения. Счастья тебе, здоровья.
They were very old, and you don't see them too up close, but those poor
little. В смайте, чтоб катки тащил в дуо.
We upgraded them to our new art set.
Плюс 300 топоров. Подарок тебе.
There's also multiple different gameplay changes that are getting adjusted. So I'll kind of read some of these off, and AJ, you can jump in whenever you want.
Не, поздравляю, реально. Если действительно день рождения, поздравляю, и плюс 300 топоров тебе.
Near the center of the map. Is there going to be anything in that side
There is
path?
going to be a little thing in there, which we'll get to in a second.
I sure will. I jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
Towers have had their physical power reduced by 15, and minions have had their health and protections increased.
Урон башен снижен, но защита и ХП здоровье миньонов увеличено.
Match conquest minion stats. So your minion waves are going to be a little bit tankier now.
Yeah.
Да, они будут такими же, как и в режиме завоевания.
So a couple of things here. Most likely, or most importantly, we wanted to make our changes towards aggression. We want to avoid the stalemate feeling that Assault can sometimes have.
Sure.
Assault's meant to be fun, a little randomness involved, want people to just be fighting a lot. So a lot of these changes are kind of subtly trying to push the players into a little bit more fighting.
Они также сейчас подготовили ряд изменений, и вообще все эти изменения признаны для того, чтобы как можно меньше было стояния на карте штурма, а как можно больше было драк. И так как этот режим призван немножко рандома, немножко, так сказать, случайностей замешано, чтобы это было фаново, чтобы это было действительно круто. То есть, ну, и экшеново.
Or make too many crazy changes, because Assault is kind of beautiful in its minimalism and its like lack of overall design. You know, it has roots of being a player enforced rule set where you just
Приключения вроде тоже анонсировали раз.
Be careful with our changes.
Очень большое обновление.
Well, as we get into some of the gameplay changes, let's get in and actually see the cosmetic and actual gameplay changes.
Посмотрим сейчас. О, красиво, кстати. Вот красиво смотрится.
It's so wide open and beautiful.
Yeah, and people really liked the celestial sky and stuff, so Christian really tried to play that up.
Yeah, I mean, so when we were coming up with the design for this,
Ничего, кстати, башни интересные.
You're playing on a frozen river, so we tried to like make reason to it, like why are we playing on a frozen river? So this is actually the dock into a village.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, so we basically just kind of came up with like a mock
Доки.
storyline. This is a village that Thor actually protected, and so this would be basically has a big fight, and I'm sure we'll see other parts of the map that this theme this
Блин,
map
красиво, кстати, смотрится.
Jorm and Thor.
So cool. I'm loving this already.
Perfect that we were reworking this map as the time we were having.
Мне это почему-то руну напомнило. Очень жду новую руну. Молодые не поймут, но руна это вот старая игра. Не знаю, можно ее назвать RPG или нет. Но... В общем, игра очень клевая. Один из первых турниров, в котором я участвовал, это был турнир по руне.
That means towers are going to deal a little less damage. That's to encourage diving a little bit more.
Okay.
We want people to not be so safe when they're hiding under those towers, which can happen a lot in Assault. And we also changed the minions to have the conquest stats, which that means they do a little less damage to gods, and they're a little tankier. So I know.
Они будут, миньоны теперь будут наносить меньше урона по богам, но будут более защищенными.
If you play Assault a lot, anyone out there, you know it can be frustrating when like one person pushes up way too far and just clears the whole wave by yourself.
Zones.
It's going to be a lot harder to do now that the minions are a little tankier, and all the gods that have interactions with cool interactions. So Chain Lightnings or Hades or Zhonghui, things that can do. Well, Zhonghui doesn't need to be so close anymore, but
sure.
Gods that can do things with the minions should have better opportunities to do that.
Great. And so on this side of the map, it's not. I wouldn't describe this as evil, Christian, but it is ominous. That's the word I use.
That's a pretty good word.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
So one of the things that we tried to do with Conquest
don't land over there.
was that chaos side
Туда можно было приземлиться.
is different, and they have kind of like they're a different faction than Order.
Right.
So we wanted to carry that over into basically all of our maps, like Arena is our other newest map, but this is basically a group of people
Да, Бак, он такой сразу такой отвернулся.
Summon Jorm. And so they're kind of very ritualistic.
Опять тоже можно было приземлиться. Что это такое?
You know, they believe in like stone, like
Может, сейчас покажет.
but that involve magic. And so the idea is that Jorm was cast away by Thor at one point, and basically these people.
Смотрите, видите саму карту? Вот здесь вот что-то появилось. Отросток.
So you have the kind of the safe, the city, the bay, the docks. Then you here have like out on the ice, the warships, and here's the path,
side path.
The side path, the new side path. There's some cool little runic thing here on the chaos side.
And what is this little guy?
And this is the final game mechanic, the little bit of additional mechanic we've added to Assault. We call it the Vital Orb.
Okay.
So these are just a pickup. They spawn in a set location, and they have jungle map icons on the minimap, and they have timers on the minimap. They're on a 60-second. Oh, he hurt himself. Okay, so that makes sense. Go ahead and drive away, Pawn. So when you walk over them and pick them up, you get a little speed boost and a health heal, as well as an aura effect that plays on you. So you can walk up to your allies and heal them over time a little bit as well.
Okay, so you can make a play for...
Предметы дают вам немножко здоровья и также скорость передвижения, и также кладут на вас ауру. То есть вы вокруг себя можете также восстанавливать немножко здоровья и манны своим союзникам. Да, все будут пробовать теперь присоединиться там. Я думаю, понерфят уже. Блин, кстати, башни красиво сделали. Парагоновские напоминают, правда.
And kind of punish the team who's just standing under towers a little bit. We want to encourage, like I said, we want to encourage that constant fighting and poking, and it's extremely risky to attack someone under a tower, so we place those exactly for that reason. Now what you'll also see is as you defeat towers, there'll be additional spawn points appear after you kill a tower. So once this tower is defeated, a new Vital Orb will spawn in the corner here.
Oh, okay. So
ага, когда ты убиваешь башню, появится еще новый восстанавливающий жизнь орб.
Right, so as you're pushing up to the next tower, and this creates some interesting mechanics, like sometimes the other team will actually have easier access to that orb if the game swings back and forth a bit, which of course happens in Assault, and that's just fine, and we're cool with that. It's really just about giving a little extra healing to stack with those meditate spams. Yep, which you see, that'll help even out the power level between healer gods and our characters who are like pseudo healers, which is always good in this game mode.
И сами мобы меньше бьют.
Reward people for playing aggressively.
We're not trying to prep Assault to be the next competitive game mode. We're just trying to make it more fun for the player.
Yeah, and it's just a pickup, so it's very based on a very narrow time window. So just seeing however the fight goes back and forth can really change who's going to be able to grab this. It's got a lot more different control feel than like a jungle camp and things like that. So it's meant to be fun and interesting, but not necessarily like change the whole meta.
Interesting. Okay, I'm loving it. We also have some changes to Assault for the match lobby. We decreased the cost to reroll your god.
Также они снизили стоимость перерандомить вашего бога в 2 раза.
In gems and in favor was 50 gems, now 25 gems. Was 250 favor, is now 125 favor.
125 фавора
play the new Assault map with your side lane. All you side jungle stands, get your side jungle back,
so.
right?
Yeah, bring back a little bit of side jungle. And there's some more interesting things artistically on that
Такая детализация, но это как карт-квест. Возможно, нагрузит Денис.
Yeah, you guys love your map Easter eggs, don't you?
There's a lot of hidden nods into this, and there's a few nods that even go harp back to the older Assault map and stuff. So I want people to obviously have fun and do their main objective, but also take a look around and kind of explore all the different storytelling moments that we've tried to add.
If you're quick at buying your items, or maybe you don't feel like jump partying, just look around a bit instead.
Yeah, take some time, smell the roses. You know what I mean? Look at the scenery. Thank you guys.
Хотят, чтобы посмотреть можно было вокруг тоже, а не присоединяться к прыгающей вечеринке на центре карты.
We do. Thank you. And yeah, we're here with community news, and the most important news. Let's begin with that, Isaiah.
Almost definitely.
It's our birthday.
It's our birthday.
I guess is the way we say
birthday, and
по поводу дня рождения SMITE.
Festivities planned, including a gem sale.
That's
so right
the one.
Now,
That's what I cared about.
You can
gem
get
sale.
up to 35% off gems
Гемы не забирайте. Забрать, да.
Each and every day of the week, we've got different in-game sales and events happening, so be sure to log in every day and get some of those rewards.
So plenty of gems to go around. Make sure you get them while they're on sale. Don't waste time about it, because then you'll be complaining about when the next sale is going to be.
Да, будет.
I guess you are too, right? Yeah. We hear the same stuff. Talking about stuff that's available, there's going to be a new Twitch Prime loot available for you guys.
That's right. On March 25th,
Twitch Prime новый.
coming up next Monday, we've got the next
Следующий понедельник.
of the Twitch Prime loot. This time it's going to be the Sands of Time bundle, which features the Desert Dragon Neath skin.
Oh, there she is.
Дракон пустынь. Нейт. Вы сможете его получить с помощью Twitch Prime.
Really? Yeah. Look at this. There's 2 sections of skins now.
Right? Yeah, I know.
There she is in all her glory. And this is going to be available, as we said, on Twitch Prime. The promotion for the Deathbringer Arthur.
Да, ребят, не забывайте, я буду очень благодарен за поддержку канала. Мы сможем проводить больше мероприятий для вас, а вы сможете больше всего увидеть на нашем канале. Больше розыгрышей будет. Подписывайтесь на мой канал с помощью Twitch Prime. Буду очень благодарен. Да. О, кстати, прикольная.
Nice and fiery, and the backflip.
Кстати, ничего так выглядит.
Fiery too.
Oh, I love the fire around.
The flames around the outside, lovely, jubbly. Why don't you hit the Hades in the background? Maybe he'll stand still then, Pom-Pom. All right. That's
Easy
okay.
shot.
There's 3 of them. He didn't do any damage though. Typical. Hunters needed a buff. That's why they're getting some extra love now. So that is going to be the Twitch Neath skin. They should have a voice pack with it, I believe. Does it? No? Yeah. Neat.
Fantastic. I am the best at what I do.
Мне нравится, прикольный скин.
Be thankful. My beauty
За 200 рублей 4 скина норм, пишет Дедок. Да, я тоже так считаю.
on a desert island. I hope it is an apple pie island. Ooh, with vanilla ice cream on the side.
What does that mean? Do you know? I don't.
No, I don't know. It sounds like she just wants some dessert.
She does.
Да,
Not
Танатусу.
Dessert in the desert. Some of the worst things. But that's not it. So that's the Twitch Prime loot. There's also going to be a Mixer store opening.
Yeah, most definitely. So
Mixer.
SPL starts next week, right?
Ребят, напоминаю, что такое миксер. Сейчас Харес в Паладинах ввели такую фишку. У них появился дополнительный магазин за миксер-поинты. То есть, когда вы смотрите канал Paladins Game, то есть теперь это будет SMITE Game, когда вы смотрите SMITE Game, вам начисляются некоторые поинты. То есть оставляете трансляцию, она у вас там включена, и там капают вам миксер-поинты. За эти миксер-поинты, если у вас миксеровский аккаунт привязан к вашей учетной записи SMITE, начисляются вам непосредственно на SMITE аккаунт, и вы сможете зайти в игре в Mixer Store и купить какие-то скины вот за эти Mixer Points.
It's crazy. So we're super excited to get you guys ready for SPL. You guys will be able to link your high-res and Mixer accounts, and tuning into SPL, actually not just SPL, all streams on the mixer.com/SMITE game channel will grant you Mixer points.
Да, все стримы, которые вы будете смотреть на SMITE Game, там разные стримы будут крутить. Просто врубаете и оставляете. Это очень крутая фишка в Паладинах, потому что в Паладинах я получил уже 3 скина, уже просто так бесплатно, смотря и этих Паладинов.
You can spend those points in game, and when you amass 600 points, you'll be able to unlock the limited Crusher Cabrakan skin.
It's here.
Когда вы просто получите 600 поинтов, помимо того, что вы сможете их потратить на какой-то скин, вы получите эксклюзивно вот этого Кабракана. Просто бесплатно.
Here he is. Look at him. The man, the machine. He looks mental in that card art there as well. So just to go through this again, this is the
просто бесплатно, ребят. Просто накопили 600, вы их еще сможете куда-то потратить. Но Кабракан клевый. Все время просто врубил и оставил. Ой, да, класс.
And those points, well, points become prizes, boys and girls. And once you get 600 points, you'll get this bad boy. But it doesn't cost you those points, right?
Exactly. So
это то же самое, что и в Паладинах. Кто играет в Паладины, тот знает. Я стримлю, кстати, Паладина, если что.
Spending points doesn't take away from the total amount of points you've accumulated.
Hell yeah.
So as long as you accumulate those 600 points, you'll unlock this skin for free.
So just keep watching. Tune into the patch notes a couple of weeks in a row. I'll Mixer, and then you'll get this skin for yourself more than likely as well. But look at it, finally. Been excited about this one for a little while. A little while longer.
Клевый. Очень мощный. Вот такие скины я люблю. Это круто. Вот это круто. Это круто. Вот этот скин мне нравится. Ну, конечно, ник же Стронг, да, мистер Клик. Ник. У него ник, у него лицо в этом.
One more thing, Depths of Atlantis Nox is what I've got written
So
down
we're
here.
shooting to release the Darkness Falls update around, you know, the week of April 1st, and when we release that update, we'll have a new chest that comes out called From the Depths, and it will include
В начале апреля будет вот этот доступен скин. Новый сундук будет.
that Scylla skin earlier,
Yeah.
kind of the ocean vibes, but more on the creepy side. This is a lot more elegant and regal.
I don't know, I see tentacles at the bottom. Oh, I don't like tentacles. I'm not a big fan of the tentacles and stuff like that. Bit surprised. Also, she's got an octopus around her face.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's like she's the queen of Atlantis, and she's got the little fish around.
Королева Атланты.
She does silence in
Я,
the
честно
deep.
говоря,
You can speak underwater. I guess
не
so.
фанат тентаклей, но она клевая.
Yeah, I guess so.
Нет, новый бандл выйдет, новые сундуки выйдут, где она будет.
She likes the darkness.
В начале апреля.
It is. Ooh. Oh, I like the basic attacks. So definitely a watery theme patch.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Обычно в Миксер Сторе добавляют старые какие-то скины.
That is really cool.
А вот это
This
клево.
is going to be new from the depths. It's going to be in a chest,
Right.
Included, and it's going to be a new chest that's going to have this skin in it.
Это новый сундук будет, ребят.
I'm pretty sure the skin has a VXG as well.
Oh. You're still showing the abilities. You're so quick at this. I love you. Some of the people at home will be like, yeah, bring Isaiah on all the time. He's rushing through this.
We'll wrap
This is
through it.
great. Definitely a watery theme to this one, if you couldn't tell already.
Yeah.
Blue means water, you know that?
Yeah.
Like Neath, you know, she was red, that means fire,
Right.
desert, yeah.
So we've got great opposites.
Это что-то круто, реально, ребят.
We do. Let's have a little listen to the VX. Can we see the VXG real quick?
I think that he's going through the VXG right now, actually.
Oh.
Got the little octopi swimming around.
So she holds it up.
А ульту можно?
Around her the whole time. That's really cool.
Бум!
And the voice
Блин,
pack
это
too,
клево.
Pop-Pod.
Сколько будет в новом сундуке? Примерно 100 тысяч. Все куплю. Дели. Все куплю. Моя прелесть. Блин, я уже жрать на самом деле хочу. Давайте-ка промотаем.
What does a dolphin say when he's confused? Can you please be more Pacific?
And there we have it.
А, прикольный звук
on the
тоже.
community section this week, we've got sale of gems going on with the birthday celebration. Keep an eye out for more information from the community team on that. Twitch Prime, make sure you link your accounts to get free stuff. Mixer, make sure you link your account to get stuff and watch on Mixer to get stuff. And then Depths of Atlantis Nox skin. That's it from me and you,
Yeah, that
though.
was a full section.
Anything
yeah,
else?
That's it. No, that's it.
All right, back to aggro. There's still more to come.
That's right. We've got a new event coming to Smite. Tina, I'm going to introduce you in a second, and just relax.
No, I
you
was
jumped
just
the
like
gun.
concentrating watching them.
Yeah, I know. Well, okay,
We were
Tina's
enjoying the
here,
Nox
everybody.
skin.
That's fair enough. As you should. As you should. That skin
I was
definitely
making
top
faces
tier.
at Tina for putting inappropriate voice lines and things.
Yeah,
As I'm always doing.
as you're always doing. AJ and Kiana here with us again as well. So, as I mentioned, this is going to be a new event in Smite. Ragnarok is finally actually over.
It is.
Рагнарок кончился, начинается новый ивент в Смайте.
The good side won, as should always
The
happen,
gods
right?
won.
The gods won, right.
But who's on a good side versus not? Now that's the question.
Okay, now I'm being put on the spot, and I don't know.
Now that is the question. No, that's exactly what we're going to get into
Well,
right
I know,
now.
but I was yes-anding you, AJ. I was yes-anding.
Oh, my bad.
That's what we do around here. So this brings us to the Council of the Gods. Now that Ragnarok has ended, it's time for the gods to come together and decide what they want to do, right?
Right. So what we wanted to do was add a little bit more fantasy to our birthday event. The birthday event was
Добавить немножко фэнтези, хотят они в свое день рождения.
Tie it into what we're doing in the game.
Sure.
So what this event is based around is a council, and that's going to be led by Hera. She's going to be trying to
Совет
get the gods to
богов, где лидер будет Гера.
Or system or something like that. Because it's nice and peaceful now that Ragnarok is done, but now that the gods don't have a common enemy, they've kind of realized that a lot of them hate each other.
Right.
So we're
Теперь, когда они закончили Рагнарок, у них настало мирное время, и они осознали то, что они друг друга ненавидят.
Are really interested in just about in mythology. You see a lot of that. a lot of these main tales about any of our characters in the game, their original myths are based on their conflicts with each other.
Sure.
So Hera is going to be with Arthur and Merlin, and they're going to be trying to do what is right and do something good and get everybody to agree and find a way for us to have peace. But then there are some gods like Bologna.
Они хотят также стримеров привлечь. Ребят, зачем делается Twitch Prime, зачем делаются миксеры? Они хотят привлечь стриминговые платформы, больше, чтобы вовлечено было зрителей, стримеров как-то мотивировать стримить их проект с помощью Twitch Prime. То есть вы покупаете Twitch Prime, вы же подпишетесь на... Ну, то есть вы уже его купили, он стоил вам 200 рублей, может быть, вообще ничего не стоил. Вы же заодно еще и подпишетесь на своих любимых стримеров. Они хотят просто, чтобы больше контента было, и чтобы их стримеры тоже что-то получили с этого. Вот, в общем-то, для этого и делается, ребят.
Really just believe you should have to fight for survival and you should have to win to rule. Sure. And that you shouldn't just make agreements with people, and they are not going to be so cool about this plan, and things are going to get heated, and it's really exciting to see where we're going to go from here as we kind of dive into this more political and interpersonal story.
It's just the nature of a god, right? I mean, they're always
Right.
going to have ego. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a god, you're not just chilling. I mean, you're a god, right? Exactly. Like you have to exert that power over everybody, and as a result, we're gonna have a whole bunch of story stuff for you and all that kind of awesome stuff. But it also comes with some skins that are gonna be a part of this event, just like the Legend of Camelot event and things of that nature. And the first one that'll be a part of this Council of the Gods.
Ну, они хотят так увеличить известность. Почему? Чем больше платформ, тем больше о тебе узнают, там, тем больше народу в онлайне.
Snuggly Artemis. Yeah, Tina. Was that like what are those her traps?
Yes. Those are her traps.
Little pillow. Yeah. Okay.
Keep in mind they're all shown the normal gameplay effects for enemies for consistency and competition.
Sure.
But Artemis and her teammates get to enjoy the fluffy pillow traps.
They get the fluffy pillow traps. So it looks this way on
Это
your
что,
team.
ловушки?
Just okay, the same size on the other side. You just want to snuggle up and relax.
Exactly, on her. Oh, pawn.
Это что, это ловушка?
Tina, I'm assuming this is your doing. They're just based on you.
Можно в ранговом конквесте отключить этот скин?
Yeah.
I believe Richard pushed for it initially.
Я просто зарепорчу чувака, который его пикнет в ранговом конквесте, отвечаю. Я просто зарепорчу.
And she's really great with the cute things and the pretty things.
Не, Неридар, пока не говорили насчет ПТС. Но там очень много всего добавили, я думаю, что ПТС будет долгий.
The way they hit the ground.
The pillow fight.
It's great.
That's so awesome. I just love like the
Да, клево. Только ловушку видно, и это не ловушка, это...
Probably have some weight to them if they're bouncing that way. It's gonna hurt.
The amount of base damage and physical power scaling that we see on those pillows.
That's right. And
we're
here
slow
is
mowing in the fluffy unicorn alt.
Tusky, the stuffed unicorn. What is Tusky's name on this skin?
Fluffy. I named it after my stuffed unicorn that I saw.
Sorry, ребят.
And it's Fluffy.
Based on a true story.
Yes.
This entire skin is based on a true story.
I can respect that. This is gonna be like, have you already set up your cosplay for this skin, Tina? I feel like you should.
No, I'm not very talented in the cosplay department, so
You don't have like a pink onesie?
Yeah.
Well, I want to add a nice tail.
Let's try a low cost cosplay. Those
Okay,
are
I can do that. I can do a budget cosplay, dude.
A budget.
Yeah.
He flies away. Did you see that?
He does.
Just a little backflip and just flies into the sky.
Yeah, I think when Vivian was designing this, there was a few different like animal themes.
Что они курят, я не понимаю. За что?
For the unicorn one, I think it was worth it.
День рождения SMITE больше темного фэнтези, да.
Yes, because he's got little rainbow toots.
She does.
This is the most Tina skin I've ever
when he
seen.
moves, yeah.
When he flies, he leaves little rainbow trails.
Look at his rainbow farts.
Я зарепорчу чувака, которого пикнет в ранговых. Блин, без обид, ребят, но это просто трэш.
I was pushing very hard for the pig to be a little fat pony.
Это
And Viv really liked
жесть.
it too, so.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We also have Valkyrie's Rage Thanatos a skin that people were very excited about. No one guessed your Twitter thing.
Вот это круто.
I think it's not quite ready yet, is what I was told. But it will be ready. No, that's okay.
I'm sure it's wholesome and happy and fun, right?
It is very.
That's right. Yeah, of course.
So
no
тебя не
inappropriate
пустят в
jokes at all,
кастомки.
right, Tina?
It gotta have
Из вражеского клана.
Of course not.
I don't believe you.
Больше с этим скином.
For the record, Valkyrie's Rage Thanatos. This is such a cool reimagining of Thanatos. What kind of inspired us to make this version of Thanatos?
Чего карту конквеста потом на Тиморе. Ну, спасибо. Чтобы я удалил SMITE, да, вот. Отлично. Вот это круто. Вот это я понимаю. Вот это интересно. Почему иконку не поменять? Я считаю, они не правы в том плане, что иконку не меняют. Хотя бы для себя. Почему мне это Ареса напоминает? Танатосу сисик захотелось, да. Ну это клево же, ребят.
Yeah, the wings are just incredible on this skin.
Не знаю, вот этим скином я бы поиграл. Да, я согласен, Папион. Я прикалываюсь, что ты ведешь тут на всякую чушь. Я хочу с Грушем замутить ивент потом. Клановую войну. Уж не переживай. Это единственный клан, который вообще, по-моему, живой. Помимо нашего Прица. Я, конечно, без обид к другим кланам, но как бы я просто не знаю, какие еще кланы живые. Я совсем пытался договориться насчет мини-кланового замеса, клан на клан, но что-то никто не согласился. А вот с Грушей, может быть, получится. Ну, клево. Вот это клевый скин на Танатоса. Да не. Максим, что тебе не нравится? Девушка вполне красивая, Танатос девушка. Ярость фурии называется. Не знаю, мне нравится.
Parts of the skin is a lot of the female characters in SMITE who have wings. It's usually smaller wings.
Sure.
And she just has this double massive wings, and it's so cool to see.
They're very, very strong, and the armor on top of them as well. The color looks great.
Ну,
it wasn't, it's not as easy as it may seem. This requires a whole new animation set.
Где такой скин будет, пока не сказали. Скин клевый, пишется сам фиша, сама идея фигня.
Makes it goes from impossible to possible is really what I should say. Definitely not easier.
Right.
It's still a huge change.
Yeah.
So, you know, if the response is really popular to this, and we see a lot of people getting involved in the council event, we'll see what we can do in the future.
Это во время мероприятия консул будет. Ну, это, видимо, приключение будет новое. Они называются консул.
But I want to let you guys know that there will be 2 bundles as part of the Council of the Gods event, each with 2 skins and 2 profile loadout cosmetics.
2 скина будет это мероприятие включать и 2 профайла косметических.
Both of these bundles and you will unlock the unlimited Ragnarok Jormungandr skins.
Yeah. Which you saw a little preview.
И еще Ермунганда получите.
Yes, and it looked amazing.
Kind of, we like to think of that as an alternate universe if Jorm and Ragnarok succeeded and things just kept getting worse. That's what we would.
Менталитет не наш. Чего вы возбухаете? У них среди сотрудников разные люди. Слушайте, ребят, среди играющих разные люди. Делается для всех. Лучше Артемида, по-моему, тоже. Без обид, ребят, то лучше, чем скин Артемиды.
We try to add variety to our events in as many ways as possible, even things that have kind of a more general theme to them, like Camelot. We try to make sure we vary the skins up as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take a listen to the voice pack.
Да, вот что меня, кстати, раздражает, то, что вот эту иконку не меняют. Вот Надя написала, что какая разница, какое там лицо, если в игре ты видишь только спину. Вот я считаю, что иконка хотя бы для самого себя должна меняться вместе со скином. Я тоже ничего на этой море не вижу. Жду фимейлового ману очень. Девушкинские скины лучше продаются, да? Для игры это хорошо, а значит для нас тоже хорошо. Больше онлайна, больше соревнований, больше людей будет смотреть и так далее. Пацаны, пора стримеру задонатить, он же дело говорит. Гризли. Я буду благодарен за любую поддержку, ребят. И... это, конечно, было бы круто.
That is really awesome. I love this skin. Thanatos already has a lot of really good ones to choose from, but Valkyrie's Rage might be top of my list now. So that is the update show, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us here.
У миксера пока только один, но они объявили только про одно.
In Council of the Gods, but there's plenty of content coming throughout these next few weeks. Then, of course, the update show after this should be a pretty exciting one as well. So something to look forward to always.
Следующее апдейт-шоу-то, они говорят, тоже очень интересное будет. Все, всем спасибо огромное. В Твиттере будет информация по поводу ПТС.
FDOTNY with all complaints. That's the complaint department these days. Thanks for watching, and you can peach it.
Все, ребят. Всем спасибо огромное за просмотр. Спасибо вам огромное за просмотр. Приходите еще, у нас частые стримы, много стримов. Жду вас всех на турнире 23-24 числа на мажоре. Будут Архикод, Фабрика, многие другие сражаться, Школа Шакал. Всех очень ждем вас посмотреть. Все, всем пока, спокойной ночи, хорошего вам снов.